It has been so long since the first Tips and Talk was released, but lucky for you, this is the second Tips and Talk. In this Tips and Talk, we will talk about things that have been going on recently and a question that was asked to me for so long. In recent days, it was found out that Apple was listening to recordings of people talking to Siri. Now, this isn't what I was expecting from Apple. Someone who advertises privacy as being really important and just does this? Well, recently, Apple just patched a Zoom security bug that was found on Macs for a server running on the Mac when the app was even uninstalled. Well, it wasn't even too long ago when that FaceTime bug was discovered, where someone can listen to what's going on. And that was patched as well. But, after some time passed, Apple with other companies such as Google and Amazon have temporarily paused listening to your recordings, while the other companies said that they will soon release a security update allowing users to opt in or opt out of being listened for improved services. Apple hasn't released that yet. Quite a while back, I was asked about how much free code camp do you really need to complete to get a job or get started on freelancing. Now, there are some things I want to say about this. The first thing is what your goal is to do. So, if you want to become a front-end developer, so you want to basically create a website with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, now there's certain things that you need to know to just become a front-end developer. The first thing is HTML formatting. Especially knowing how to write great HTML will really improve your performance. If you're using like Visual Studio Code or Atom, there's a prettier extension which you can get. And in Visual Studio Code, to my knowledge, you can press a function that will allow you to press Control S or the save function, and it will format it every time for you. For CSS, I would suggest that you know at least how to create a mini framework. The reason you have to know how to create a mini framework is because a framework is basically like the build is like ready to build website for you. Just have to create the HTML with classes and IDs. Well, if you can create a mini framework, that means you can probably design a whole website. Now, since you might want to be able to create websites with Bootstrap and customizing Bootstrap, so that is a very nice thing to look out for. And the one best thing about Bootstrap will be that the nav bar is already mobile responsive. That's what I usually do. I just grab the nav bar and then the helper classes and then just use rest of it being regular CSS. Now, CSS is not the only thing you will probably need to know. You will know some designing principles, especially UI UX design. Now, whenever you're creating a website for clients, I would highly suggest that you pre-design your website before coding it so you can make any changes. And whenever asking a client, you always want their logo, their theme colors, and how they want their website to look like, and possible sections on their website. Now, one of the most complicated things that you'll ever face will be the contact form, because we're not doing backend. So there are some services out there. If you're hosting on Netlify, which is a great hosting service, you can use the included form function that there's a documentation on their website, or there's a good website Formspree which can do the same thing for you, but even faster a little bit. Now, if you were to work for a company, more than likely you won't have to do any designing, and there will be a designer that sends you to work and you just have to code it. But let's just move on to JavaScript. Now, I would suggest that you know ESS syntax, classes, and arrow functions. So now one largely suggested thing for JavaScript will be learning a framework. So if you want to start off easy, Vue.js is the best way to start off, and then move to React slowly. Now, you can switch frameworks anytime. So if you know good enough JavaScript, switching to another framework will not be that hard. Now, a framework like Angular, which used to be called AngularJS, now Angular, which comes out with new versions so quickly, is based on TypeScript. Now, if you've written like a type-specific language like C#, you will know how difficult it is to not like difficult, but it's very type-specific. Like a string is a string, it's assigned it with a colon to a variable. So TypeScript is basically the same, but Angular is a more enterprise level framework, so it's a little difficult. Now, you might want to know Git and using version control, and it's highly suggested in having a portfolio where you at least have 4 to 6 projects or more. On Free Codecamp, you do create projects, which I would highly suggest working really hard on them and going back on them, improving them after you got some better visual design and everything, looking nice with theme colors and everything. And even if you just search on Google, like theme color generator, you'll find it all. And you want to all have them in GitHub repositories. If you do not know about Git and all, you can just search it up. It's not that hard. Now, just like I mentioned Netlify, that's a great service to host your projects. Now, you can host on GitHub pages. It's your option, but Netlify is a great one. I have almost 13 websites hosted on there on one account, and they're rolling all just fine. So, I hope this gives you an idea on how you can achieve a front-end web development role. So, knowing Git is a very good thing, and especially if you're working for yourself, knowing how to use FTP will be a great thing, like using FileZilla to upload to a server or something. So, especially if you want to do WordPress, I would highly suggest you know visual design and everything because it will make WordPress so much easier to work with because you'll know the foundations of how it is built. Now, WordPress is based on PHP, which is a backend programming language. So anything that is a server-side backend language more than likely needs a server. So Netlify is a static hosting, meaning that only HTML, CSS, and client-side JavaScript can be hosted on there, and that's it. So if you have any questions, please contact me through my email address or whatever, and I'll see you on the next one.